Dark clouds gather like mourners over the ancestral home of Randolph Steer, patriarch of the Steer family of Philadelphia. Randolph was an ingenious inventor, founder of Steer Industries. And as the mighty fall, so fell Randolph, right down the staircase within these very walls. But he really left the world 5 years ago when he lost his wife Irene and spent the rest of his life trying to find her again. Strange stories have grown up around this foreboding place since old Randolph secluded himself here. Tales of seances and witchcraft and the dead walking the grounds. And no one can say what will happen now that Randolph himself is buried in Steer Manor.
I'd like to thank you all for being here today, although I'm sorry it takes such a sad occasion to bring us together.
I can't think of any other reason.
Yes. Well, for those of you who don't know, I'm Willis Lyman, executor of Mr. Steer's estate. I'd also like you to meet Mr. Dash Balder, who represents Mr. Steer's brother, Justice.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Well, not happy. I mean that I'm glad that is to say, I'm very pleased that,
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Balder. It was good of you to come. And this is Madam's mayor, Mr. Steer's...
I was Randy's spiritual guide and transmedium.
Of course. Thank you for being here. Here, now. Then I have here the last will and testament of Randolph Steer. So, let us begin.
maybe we should all have a drink first.
I think that would be more appropriate afterwards, Leonard, if I may continue. I, Randolph Steer, being of sound mind and memory, make this my last will and testament, revoking all other wills and codicils heretofore made.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Grimsby, I don't really think this is the time. Oh, we'll just put it down on the table. With your permission, I will skip over the standard clauses and business directives and get right on to the special bequests.
By all means, let's not drag this thing out. I do have a dinner engagement.
Very well. Article 4. As I cannot leave my possessions in the gracious keepings of my beloved Irene, who has no further use for worldly goods, I must divide them among the living, who may still find some value in them.
Grimsby, what are these? They're quite delicious.
To my sister, Prudence Milverton, I leave all furnishings, decorations, and fixtures of Steer Manor.
Oh, my lord. Well, I suppose we could have another of those charity auctions or something.
To my nephew, Prudence's son, Charles Milverton, I leave my 3 automobiles.
Charles, darling, do try one of those pink ones.
Tell me, Lyman, what is the value of scrap metal these days?
To my brother, Justice Steer, I leave my library of first editions and other rare books and papers.
I didn't think Justice could read. Well, you know, these are rather tasty. Perhaps we should have something to wash them down with?
To my stepson, Calvin Adler, I leave 4% of my shares in Steer Industries.
What is this? Chopped chicken liver?
The cheese ones are pretty good, too.
Put that down. You'll ruin your supper.
To my cousin, Leonard Vole, I leave the contents of my wine cellar.
Wonderful! Grimsby, champagne for everyone.
Could we please? To my grandnephew, Nick Steer, I leave 2% of my shares in Steer Industries.
Fine. Some rusty heaps for me and 2% of the business for a skirt-chasing college boy.
Hey, I'll give you 2% of something, buddy.
Can we try to show a little decorum here? To Dulcie Lamb, who was so helpful and so kind to an old crackpot, I leave $10,000.
Now there, my dear child. Have a cracker.
To Edward Grimsby, my loyal servant, I leave a lifetime pension.
Grimsby, you simply must come to work for me. Or at least, give my cook your recipes.
To my good friend, Professor Oliver Lindenbrook, I leave my journals and other papers documenting my research. Perhaps I can be more persuasive in death than I was in life about these matters. To Madam's Mayor, who brought me hope when all hope had been abandoned, I leave my eternal gratitude and $25,000 that she may continue to develop those great gifts that nature has bestowed upon her.
You really must have lifted his spirits, my dear.
All the rest and remainder of my estate shall be placed in trust under the administration of my executor to be used for the benefit and furtherance of the Ernest Shabanak Foundation.
What?
Who or what on earth is a shabby shack?
Signed by Randolph Steer on the 7th day of October in the year of our Lord, 1935, and witnessed by myself.
Well, I'd say this calls for a drink.
You think your eyes opening in the morning calls for a drink?
All right. Let's calm down, please. Calm down. Calm down there. That's right. Thank you, Grimsby. Now, then everything's fine, so let's just...
I'm afraid everything is